socialism.
The roller shades, Rolladen, is what they're called in Germany.
One more time.
They're made by a company called Rollac down here, which we have one down here, but they're like the shutters essentially that you don't need curtains for. You just close off and it makes the room pitch black. Trying to find a gif of them, but there ain't none.
Oh, I've seen those. I need those in my life.
Hmm.
They literally make the entire. Hello.
How about we let Silver intro the stream, people?
Yeah.
He's gonna be the
All this
stream
exciting
central.
conversations about climate and blinds and aeration of houses. Yeah, we're here to play D&D, so we'll do that. Welcome to Tales of Winternacht and the Tale of Cybil's Spear, Book 3, Chapter 20, our primary actual play D&D 5e campaign. I'm Silver, be your storyteller this evening. With me are our players, AJ, Dustin, Jeff, Ernie, Conrad, and Saga, and our special guest, Ollie. For those of you tuning in for the first time, or if you've missed a session, we'd like to encourage you to check out previous sessions on our YouTube channel. Also like to direct you to our Discord server and our Instagram. To join our community and interact with us, links to all can be found in the About section of the Twitch channel. Before we get going, want to thank Smiteworks for Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice, Sirenscape for amazing ambiance, sound effects, and music, Discord for our voice and video, and Wizards of the Coast for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, the game we play. Tales of Winternacht is not sponsored by, nor are we an official representative of any of these companies, and the views and statements made during our game do not in any way represent those of the companies. We will be continuing our current giveaway this week. We're looking to hit 100 followers. Upon reaching that point, we'll be giving away a set of lovely snowy, icy dice, whatever you want to call them. They are not cold, but I can make them cold in a couple days when it goes back to frigid temperatures here. Same rules as
Temperatures.
same rules as before. To enter the giveaway, redeem 100 channel points, activate the enter giveaway option, and then join our Discord. Everyone eligible can enter once per stream and accumulate multiple entries until we reach 100 followers, at which time we will choose one entry as a winner. If you are chosen as the winner of the giveaway, you'll be contacted on Discord to get your mailing address to send you your prize. And once we hit the dice giveaway, we'll probably go back to doing sticker giveaways and stuff, just for a nice fun thing. These are these lovely stickers featuring the amazing artwork of AJ up there in the corner. And he has been so gracious to include lovely little sketches with your winnings. So, that's enough an incentive to enter giveaways in general. I might be able to twist his arm into helping out with giveaways on dice just by throwing in something there. Maybe. Just plead and tell him how great he is, and maybe we'll get there. All right. With all that out of the way. And yes, I do have frigid temperatures. It has been below 20 almost for the past week until today.
Oh,
We're back to
nice summer breeze below 20.
We got to 60 today. It was an amazing shift in temperatures. So,
Okay.
previously on the Tale of Cybil's Spear. Cybil's Spear, a group of 6 strangers brought together through tragedy to form an adventuring team. They have endured many trials and emerged stronger and better suited to face their ultimate foe, Kurzarath, the Dreamer, an otherworldly entity who once trapped adventurers, including many in the party and their loved ones, in another dimension, and whose true aspirations are yet unknown. Their current journey has brought them to Torslin, the northern homeland of the party's barbarian Jofridir. Arriving in the port city of Riyadh, they met Jofridir's beloved, Aliona, and together ventured to Jofridir's home of Snodeskull. They arrived to find the town devastated by some sort of attack, which left the adults dead or missing, and the children sequestered in a sea of caves, under the care of the nearby lighthouse keeper. Among the dead were Jofridir's brother Ivor and the village wiseman Herdert. But there was no sign of Jofridir's father, mother, or sister. However, Ivor's spirit survived the death of his body and attached itself to a dagger left behind with the body. A dagger bearing the name Luvenia, a name unfamiliar to the party. Party headed south for Bjornsflute, the home of the Isbjorn clan, whom the party suspected was involved in the attack leaving behind Aliona, who volunteered to help Helen transport the children to Rehab for safety. They traveled for more than 4 days, overcoming numerous challenges and making interesting discoveries about the world of Torslin along the way. One particular encounter found them transported through a magical shrine to the realm of Viben Senglut, a primordial being who challenged the party's trust and shared with them some cryptic information about the Dreamer. As a parting gift, Senglut helped speed them on their way, but left the party confused as to the specific date they arrived on. The party finally arrived in Bjorn's Flute. After some scouting, made their entry under the cover of darkness and deception. They found a near abandoned village in the throes of a celebration surrounding a bout in their fighting pit. A bout between one of their leaders, Vitali, and none other than Jofridir's father, Torsten, Dragonsbane. Or at least a battered and beaten shell of the man Jofridir had shared stories about. Party sprung to action in an attempt to save Torsten, but despite eliminating some of the enemy forces through violence and deception, the battle seemed even-sided. That was until a large silver dragon swept into the fray, putting a stop to the battle. But Torsten wasn't done. With a renewed vigor, at the return of his son, he took a mighty swing at Vitali and caved in the old man's chest, ending their rivalry once and for all. The dragon, Navarra, offered to lead the party to the location of the other captives and asked that they follow her out of the village. Party agreed, but Torsten and Jofridir left a party, setting fire to the village, bathing the night sky in an orange glow. Vengeance, thy will be done. Here in Torslin, it is late evening. Our tale resumes as the party makes their exit from Bjorn's Flute. Does anyone have any business to complete before following Lonan and the dragon? AJ's trying to talk.
Cedric, what is it?
Cedric starts getting cue cards. This one has a bird on it. This one
Is it
it's like a
working?
lizard.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
right.
Is
go.
it working?
There you are.
Okay. Yeah. Zitri wants to go and check on the temple before we head out.
Okay.
It can't burn down.
Yeah, I believe Alfred also, we talked about this at the end of the last session. We wanted to make sure that everything was here.
Yeah, basically we're picking up as the dragon takes off into the air, and you can follow, or you can conduct other business, or whatever you want to do. Or you can disastrously decide we're going to return to combat, and I'm going to try and pull that map up and make everything work this week.
You know, there was one of our friends.
Alright, so Alfred and Zedri are going to check on the temple.
Yeah, probably just a lot of, like, I would assume control fire or control flames, making sure that nothing gets too close towards it.
Okay. What about the other four?
I'm on a dragon.
I'd assume that me and my dad are just waltzing out the village. Yoffer would definitely have a much more confident look on his face. Definitely a sense of accomplishment, at least in this far. A
Yeah,
couple
I
more
think,
people, but he's still a little worried, but, a big step.
I think Torsten's much the same. He's walking away without looking back at the village because you don't look at the explosions you cause. But I think he's having to keep moving because he knows if he stops moving, he's not going to start moving for a long time.
Salinas and Kiesel?
Cybil's just kind of watching where the dragon goes, trying to keep track of where the fuck Lonin's gonna end up going. Well, someone's gotta watch and make sure. If those burn down, I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, I think he's like paying attention to the dragon. He looks back, and Zedri and Alfred are gone. He's gonna really pull out his book, scribble, and send a message to Alfred. Sending. Alfred, where are you? You're leaving? There's a dragon that has Lonin? We need to use the bathroom or something?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, Cedri, I don't know where you are in relation to Alfred as we're doing this whole thing, but you'll see him sort of like stiffen up. And he will both in his mind and out loud say, yeah, Cedri and I went to go check on the temple and make sure it didn't burn down. It seemed pretty important. I don't know if you think so, but we did. We saw the dragon. We'll be back soon. I don't know how many words that was. I think that fit? No.
She's probably nearby Alfred, so if he hears him say it out loud, he's just gonna keep on kind of like he'll kind of like help to burn like a concentric like, circle around it so that if the heat approaches, it'll immediately extinguish before catching on to anything else. And Cedric will just look towards Alfred and say, Salinas?
Alfred will blink his eyes like twice or 3 times. Yeah, he wanted to check and see where we were. He was kind of confused. Yes, if we were going to the bathroom.
No, we're doing damage control. Which in some circles, I suppose that could be considered damage control, but...
We'll note to the two of you that are messing with the, trying to protect the temple. Temple appears to be fairly old, at least several decades. I guess in the grand scheme of things, that's not old, but stone construction, there's really not any sort of vegetation around of any risk. There is like green tree towards the back end of the temple, but anything nearby to really catch fire would take quite a bit. Doesn't appear to be wood shingles or anything like that up top. It looks like it's fairly safe from exposure to fire and catching fire. The rest of the buildings can't say they're in as good a protected state. Most everything in this town is built out of wood.
Okay. If we have a minute, Alfred just wants to take a look inside and sort of see what this temple looks like from the inside, I guess. See what how they carry themselves. He'll just turn to Zedri and say, well, I think it's mostly contained now, right? I'm a little curious about what this temple actually has. I don't think we've actually popped into it. If we have a minute. I know there's a dragon, but I don't know if we'll ever have a time to come back here.
I think some sort of communion would be well worth it. I'm still of the mind that not everybody here was necessarily at fault.
No, you're right. There's always a lot of crossfire in these sorts of situations.
Yeah, he'll accompany Alfred in.
Venturing in, it's not a terribly large temple, good sized room, but it just appears to be one big long room. Pretty simple. Stone floor, some wooden benches with little kneeling benches with a almost like a desk like setup for where you'd put your elbows in a prayer formation. Very nice linens that are laid across the prayer benches with alternating red and then blue and then red and blue every other bench as it moves up closer to stone altar at the far side. It's nothing very ornate, very simple. The nicest thing, honestly, throughout is the linens. Everything else is very, very simple, very rustic's maybe not the right word, but it's utilitarian. It's very intended towards a purpose, and there's no extra frivolities to it. No statues, no gold, no silver, no ornamentation really to things beyond the linens that are hung over things. Some nice torches and stuff up at the front, or setups for torches. They're currently all extinguished. Doesn't look like anybody was actively using the temple at the time. You notice a lot of dust in different places, like the temple has been fairly vacant as of.
Cedric, don't you find it odd that they have this big temple here in the center and it's basically unused?
Well, if that dragon's been coming around, I don't know how fond they are of pantheonic worship. They might want to be worshipped themselves. Might be a big old dragon statue out here somewhere.
I guess that could be it. I don't know, it just seems odd.
It does. But the people who we could ask about it are either gone or not here.
Alfred would just nod his head. Alfred's gonna reach into his pack and pull out something that has not been pulled out in who knows how many weeks and weeks and weeks. He's gonna pull out the Wand of Secrets.
Okay.
And he is going to resembling a doorknob. Okay, he is going to take the doorknob and he is going to twist it in front of him, I guess is how you activate it. He's gonna turn the doorknob. So it has 3 charges, and if there's a secret door or trap within 30 feet of me, it will pulse and point at the one nearest to me.
There's no pulse or any change in direction. Check.
Okay. It was worth a shot.
Yeah.
You know, I've held on to this for so long, and I don't think I've found an opportunity to use it where we're not running for our lives at the same time. I guess that, along with the lack of use, made me think that there might be something more.
I mean, if nothing else, it's going to be an uphill battle trying to win over these folks if we just killed a bunch of them. I've feel like, personally, my hands are pretty clean. I mean, I did help the individual who I knocked out, but do you think it would be worth it to bring the linens, maybe as some sort of peace offering? They do seem to be the most flammable thing in here, outside of these, and he'll knock on one of the benches.
Possibly. I don't know whether or not that's something that would be considered good, or if that would be considered desecration of the temple.
There's a proper way to fold them.
Right. Um, I think as long as we're not taking them for ourselves, then it could be considered clean. If you want, I'll give you a hand.
Of course. And Zidri will head over, and he'll take one of the long stretches of linen, and he's going to go ahead and start slowly kind of folding it up, almost ceremonially.
Okay.
Alfred will follow in tow. How many linens are there?
Ten.
Okay.
There's a moment where Zedri, you hear a voice, hear Salinas. Zedri, I'm not sure if you got the last message, but we are very much on the time limit if you didn't catch that there was a dragon waiting for us.
As Zedri's like in the middle of folding it, rather than being like Alfred and stiffening up, he's just going to take a moment and calm his breathing and have this kind of peaceful meditation. Hopefully the air of the temple that they're in aiding a little bit. So he's going to attempt to push out Salinas' voice, drown it out with his own mind.
Blah, 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 blah.
I will say that though we don't know exactly how they're going to be received, if we bring them out to the others, it might be nice to at least give this temple a second life. Could always start something back at home in 6 bells.
Yeah, as long as we're not using them for our own gain, we're not selling them, then, and we're purposing them for the use of Infernus, then I see no problem.
It's bittersweet that this is the first time that I've ever seen anything like this, and he'll gesture towards the blue and red alternation outside of the scarf that Lonan made me.
Well, perhaps perhaps they're meant for you, actually.
I thought you said
I mean,
no selfish purposes, though.
Well, I mean, and sort of, you also said you would be happy to sort of start up a little section in 6 bells. It might just be your calling, your opportunity for it.
I don't necessarily fancy myself a priest, but I suppose.
Well, perhaps not a priest, or you just help set up and administer things and get it started. Be the first foot in the door.
That's a noble thought. Thank you, Alfred.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to, like, put too much on you, but I don't know. He'll just, like, sheepishly, like, scratch his cheek and, like, over the back of his head. Oh. But, yeah, no, I think that you would be really good for it. It almost seems like it was meant for you. But let's get these folded up, I guess. Right. I guess we'll just like finish folding them up, and after that, we'll probably head back to where we saw the dragon. I don't know if everyone's still going to be congregated there.
Kiesel's just kind of like been doing this. Do I lose sight of the dragon at all? Does it get away from me, or do I have a pretty good idea as to where it's going or where it's gone?
Are you just standing still watching?
If it's like moving out of my line of sight, I would move along with it to not like I would be tracking it pretty closely.
We'll put it this way: you don't have dark vision, and it's nighttime.
Ooh.
So once it leaves the confines of the village, you aren't going to be able to see it. You could attempt to. There's a little bit of moonlight, but you're going to have to follow.
I'll do that.
Salinas has he's been pacing nervously. Hands you Galfrank. I'm going to go find Zedri and Alfred and make sure they haven't died or something. I didn't get the response from my last message, and then I can find you again.
I just think they're over there.
He still just points in a random direction.
All right. I will say that Kiesel, you're able to, as you go and start heading in the direction you saw the dragon heading off, you catch up with Torsten and Jofridir. Salinas heads off towards Zedri and Alfred, and Lonan's riding a dragon.
It's cold up there.
It is. It's definitely cold, and snow in the face. Whole new experience for Lonan, riding on the back of a dragon, flying in general.
Quick question. The party sheet showed 4 crow floats. Did we have extra ones, or did people just not pull them from there?
I think people didn't pull them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just put mine in there since Torsten has the affairs.
You could just give it to Torsten.
Can you really?
I think you should be able to just drag it onto him on the top.
Oh, let me try that.
I'd recommend that because I don't know how to grab something from the party inventory.
So there's a party sheet up in the top right corner. The far top right.
Yep.
And then there's an
okay.
inventory tab under it.
Got it.
Yeah, it doesn't let me do it to him like that.
Then I will just drag one into this inventory.
Hey!
Nice.
I figured it out, guys.
I'll go ahead and take mine as well, as we're talking about it.
I also love that on the party sheet there's like a marching order thing. Formation. That's pretty cool. I just realized that.
Yeah, there's the formation and then there's the watch order.
Just like a turn-based game, we get a bonus if we arrange ourselves in the correct position.
Do different shapes.
We'll glitch out of the game and then our characters will become real.
I'm just fixing. Could we get a game of Advanced Wars going on here? Do you think? Is that doable?
Lonan, you ride the dragon a short while off, then land in a pretty open area. Quickly surmise this is the fork in the road that Zedri had mentioned in your scouting mission from earlier in the day. And you just wait for the others to show up. Salinas, you meet the Firehearts as they are exiting the temple with all these linens in their hands.
Zedri would have put him in the back of holding.
Okay. Roll them up tight.
Just the sacrilege of taking all this time to fold the bomb and going inside of the bag.
Well, gee, all that hard work went to waste, I guess.
No, I mean, they'll sit folded up. I don't think the vacuum of a pocket dimension is necessarily going to unravel them.
I hope not. Well, I guess we can refold them. Is that Selena's?
I think so. Oh, he's... We have to go and get the horses. Right.
Alfred will just like wave as they're like, as Selena's is running out. Hey,
Are we? Hi. Yes. Lonan is gone. On the dragon.
right. I got that.
You seem unconcerned about her.
I mean, not unconcerned. Very much concerned, but also realizing that we will not come back to this place, and I have duties to my
Eyebrow.
god.
Come on.
Of all people that should understand this.
Zedry has his arms crossed, waiting for Selena's reply.
Yes, we have duties. And amongst them is we are doing.
I mean, I trust that Lonan is not going to perish on the back of this dragon in the next however long it takes to get wherever she's going. And honestly, there's nothing we could do right now if she was to, if the dragon was to turn on her.
How comforting.
I mean, I don't say
Let's
that
go.
as a want or anything. It's just I'm trying not to worry unnecessarily.
I'll say this much. That dragon offered her a ride. Didn't offer that to any of us. So I think maybe there's a little bit more of a mutual understanding.
Well, I think a lot of understanding happens when you can speak to it.
Oh, like this party, yes.
We still have to go and get the horses anyway.
Yes, and hopefully that will let us gain some ground.
All right, well, we're done here now. Let's get going.
Selena's, I thought we were already walking.
Yeah.
At least Selena's
No.
was.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
As they're walking and talking, and I'm catching up with Jofridir and Torsten, just kind of watching. I'll look towards Torsten. How do you feel after caving that guy's skull in?
I feel that I did the right thing by finishing him. He was a disgrace.
A traitor? Or just a rival?
The last time I visited their village, they were much like it is now. The people were hungry. The village was in bad shape. And we left them food from our own supplies and blankets and clothing. We didn't attack them. I showed them mercy. And then they came back with an outsider. And they decimated the place that I love. And then they took me. And they threw me in that hole. For 50 days.
I do know what it's like to be thrown in a hole. I don't know if you were forgotten about, but... Have you ever been outside of Torsland?
No.
Have you ever done trading with people outside of Torsland?
People from outside have come in, sure.
Kiesel will snaggle around in his breast pocket a finely hand-rolled cigarette. Would you care for a smoke?
I'm just sort of like, look, like, just sort of look, just be like, I was not expecting. Yeah. Okay.
I'll give it to him, and I'll get my little thing of matches out or whatever, and I'll light him up a much needed. Keep you warm.
He holds it, like, he takes a drag, he holds it like he's got it held between, like, these two fingers, and it's cupped into his palm. It's the hold of someone who is used to very strong winds, and
Yeah.
and using it for a source of heat. He's just like,
Real?
I turn to Joffrey, and I'm just like, I like your friend.
He's definitely one to keep around.
Where are the rest?
I mean, I have been fighting back to back essentially for quite some time now.
The rest of them are mulling about in the church doing religious obligations, or I don't know. I feel like service could be at a couple days throughout the week, but I feel like right now is not very keen timing. Plus, I have good trace of where the dragon went, but I can't see shit versus all in the dark. And if we head back this way, we could probably rendezvous with our horses if they haven't been picked off by polar bears and make way. And just so lucky for you, we have a spare horse.
I'm at the level of exhaustion where if I stop moving, I will pass out.
Now, we also have a sled, so if you wanted to take a nap up the mountain, we could also drag you that way. Give you some time off your feet.
I've been trapped in one place for too long, so I will keep walking for now.
We should head that way. I think I see them walking out of the church there. And I'll point towards the 3 caballeros walking that way.
So, just the layout of the town. Going to the horses takes you southwest. Following the dragon takes you northeast. Party is diverging, going opposite directions at this point. It's to the 2 sets of 3.
I thought we were all walking towards the direction of the horses.
Are you all going? We quit following the dragon?
I would have seen where the dragon was going to stop, suggested the horses, and that way we can head in that direction.
Okay.
If we get closer to the dragon and someone else with dark vision can see it, but I would assume that at this point, I mean, however fast the dragon is traveling, I would probably lose it fairly quick from this point on. So I can't see shit.
Alright, so 6 of you heading southwest and lone and alone with the dragon in the middle of a clearing at a crossroads. Speaking of which, I guess you got some alone time with the dragon at a crossroads.
Yeah.
So,
if it, I don't know if the dragon will like let her down.
yeah.
So they can speak like face to snout, I suppose. Lonen's gonna kind of like stumble into the snow. Like her cheeks are like bright red from the like cold air. She's like, thank you, my very majestic friend. I don't. That might be too soon. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Lonan. Thank you for that. Was amazing. I'd never flown before.
I don't suppose you have. Exactly where are your friends?
She's gonna look around. I have no idea. I'll be completely honest with you. This happens occasionally.
She gives a sigh.
Yeah, Loden, like, I imagine her and Loden just, like, kind of sigh in unison, just like, huh. Yeah, no.
You know where they might have gone?
She'll probably back towards where we left our horses, which are in the woods that are a short distance from the town.
Give me a perception check. We need a dice roll.
Okay, doker.
Other than my mystery dice rolls.
Yeah. I have to do it at disadvantage. Because I'm still exhausted.
Give a conversation starter with Torsten.
And I rolled a nat 1.
Yeah, you could ask
It's
if
the
you
only way for you to fail a perception
You
check is the nat
basically-
1, basically.
Her eyes are probably like still watering from the ride. Or,
Very well then. I suppose we go looking for them.
You're sure? Yeah.
Just put a wing down for you to climb back up.
Lonan will kind of remember what Selena said, and she'll kind of give a little bit of a bow. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Before she climbs back up. It's amazing.
She lets you climb on, find a spot in between the spines running down her back, and she quickly doesn't waste any time poofing up a big drift of snow coming off the ground as she beats her wings and takes off into the air, flying back up over the village. Doesn't take very long before you catch sight of two groups of 3 individuals heading off back towards the main gate that you guys all came in on. Familiar enough looking individuals. You have dark vision. And we're not relying on your nat 1 at this point for the perception. We'll be back to general. And the town being very well lit down below you. Get a very good view of the fire has now spread away from that initial house that was set on fire and has now caught some of the surrounding buildings on fire. Temple's fine. As members of the Isbjorn are doing their best to try and put the fires out with what limited resources they have. The 6 of you that are heading out to the southwest, out of the main gate, notice the individuals that had been in the towers rush past you, giving you a strange look as they head off to go help with the fire in the center of town. Not paying much attention to you. Selena's, your disguise is for an hour, correct?
Yeah.
So you'd still probably be, it'd be nearing the tail end, but you'd still be under your 1 hour disguise of here's the a scholar who visited the town stopped in town and is heading back out the gate. And if you so choose, the 2 groups of 3 can merge into a group of 6. That's up to the 3 in the back, whether they're able to catch up with the 3 in the front.
Yeah, let's we're a big group of 6 now. We're a big group of 6.
I guess if you have any conversations that you want to have as you go back to get the horses, otherwise you eventually make your way back to the forest and get the horses.
All unscathed, no predators, no funny business, nothing.
Everything
like that, right?
seems fine.
A welcome sight.
And how many horses do we have again?
I think it was 3.
Ooh.
If I remember incorrectly.
Yeah. Yeah, 3.
Yeah, which is why I thought it was funny when Gisela was like,
Said you have an extra.
"You have an extra
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get to the horses. We get to the horses, and Torsten looks at the horses, and then turns to look at Kiesel. Just like, how many of you ride on each horse?
I could have sworn it was 6. We can double up if needed. I think we did double up, actually.
We have to double up.
Hmm.
I don't think the Jofreder can double up with someone though.
He can double up with you, skinny boy.
I'm still pretty well rested. I don't mind walking a bit.
I will walk.
Alfred will get on a horse.
Zidru's going to very carefully watch Torsten as he goes ahead and gets up on a horse as well.
One horse remaining.
Kiesel will get on the horse.
Salinas is gonna get on a horse.
Wait, who's driving?
Salinas will get on the same horse as Kiesel.
Zidru can get on with Alfred. For simplicity. Yeah.
Or who's passenger side? Did I get on the left or the right? Is this a European car? Like, what do we... Where
You
am
do
I?
have an empty horse
Turn
now.
back.
Salinas and Kiesel are on one, and the Fireheart's on another, and Torsten and Jofreder are walking. There's
and
that
there's
extra
still the
horse.
sled. And there is still the sled.
Correct.
Cybil gets on the sled.
Good girl.
Torsten, are you sure you don't want a horse?
If I stop moving, if I sit down, I don't know how long it'll be before I can get back up.
And then Kiesel will split off from Salinas and use the third horse.
Hey, if you're that tired, I don't mind helping a little bit. I have a way to stave off a bit of the exhaustion you might be feeling.
Sure.
Okay. Zidru will go ahead and produce his acupuncture needles. And he will walk over towards Torsten very carefully with them. He has them kind of fanned out to show, like, I mean no harm.
He's sort of like looking at the needles, just like, I thought it would be a spell or a potion.
It is a spell, and Zidri's hand will kind of glow as each of the needles are enveloped in flame. I think I might need to hit a few more pressure points on you than I did with... He'll look over towards Kiesel, and the disparity between the size of these men, as Torsten is built.
He is big.
Yeah, Zidru will put it in, and he will go ahead and cast... which one was it? Rejuvenating Touch. Does that do it? Yeah. So you are removed from 1 level of exhaustion.
Nice.
I think we had you at level 2, so you'd be back to level 1, just a disadvantage on checks.
It's sort of like, so is it all of the needles? Just sort of go in before the thing takes effect, or does it gradually, the effects of gradually build up with each needle?
I'd say as each needle kind of sets in, there's like a small kind of like warmth, and as each one goes in, it expands a little bit more until you feel just kind of, I guess your body come back to you if you're that far gone. 58 days!
You see him, like, before you get there, like, he's wearing essentially what is it, like, rags at this stage. And he just sort of, like, rips off the part, like, for the top half, and then, like, holds the cloak. And there's no extra, like, it looks like he hasn't really eaten, which is a combination of, like, needlessly extreme muscle definition and malnutrition. It's not even the sweet spot. It's erring on the side of malnutrition. But then it's like he doesn't like react as you like put the needles in, but then you can see him sort of with each like pass, like when they're all sort of in, he's sort of just like, huh. Thank you. These are. I feel more alert.
I'm glad. Does Torsten like roll his shoulders back, like stand up straight?
Yeah, just a little bit. Like he straightens his posture a little bit.
How tall is he?
I was never told.
How tall are you? How tall do you want to be? How tall is Yofridir?
Yeah, this is a good like referencing point.
So Yofridir is 6'3". I don't remember if I put a height for Torsten.
I didn't have one in my notes, I don't.
Do you want to be taller than your dad? Or do you want to be
feel like
slightly
Torsten
shorter
would
than your
probably
dad?
I feel like Torsten would probably be a little bit taller.
Cool. He's 6'5". It's worrying.
Okay. As you stand up straight, Zedri's like, I need to get the needles back.
Yeah.
And it's 5'11" and a half. Has to get on his tippy toes.
He starts pulling the needles out.
5'11" and a half now.
Oh, 5'10" and a half. I'm so sorry.
I wonder who that's at.
He pulls out the needles and like hands them back to you, and sort of like pats you on the shoulder, and just like, thank you, Zedri.
Yes.
Zedri.
Anytime. Zedri, I'll hop back on the horse. Get back on the saddle.
Those of you with passive perceptions of 15 or better, or dark vision, would catch either the sound of flapping wings or the sight of the dragon circling over top of you. And then seeing that you have started to move back towards the northeast, leading you off to the northeast. And getting a little bit ahead of you and then circling back, picking the group back up and then leading you off eventually to the location that took Lonan to a little bit ago. You all gather around the fork in the road as Navarra sets down on the ground, throwing snow in all your faces as the wings beat, stir up a little bit of an extra blizzard to the already consistent snowfall. And then allows Loden to disembark.
Yeah, she'll once again hop down into the snow. Hi. Yofridir's dad. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Yep. my father Torsten. Torsten, this is Lonan.
A pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you as well.
And who is your friend?
She has not given me her name yet.
She did.
Oh,
She
she
gave you
did.
Navarra the last
Okay.
episode, so.
Her name is
Navarra.
her name is Navarra. And she'll turn to Navarra and introduce Cybil Spear and Torsten in Draconic.
At the sound of her name, Navarra will nod her head. Just a slight little bow of her head. And just kind of look at each of you as you're each introduced. Alright. It's probably best to get on with things. It's late. Don't particularly care for sleeping out in the open. A couple of things. Oh, hell, this would just be easier. And she just switches to common. Exits out of the Draconic and switches to common. Alright, so... about going and finding your friends. I know where your friends or acquaintances or whoever they might be are located. There may be a few complications. One in particular that might be of interest to resolve before heading there.
What kind of complications?
Do you folks come from north or from west? Where exactly?
From the north.
Okay, well then you're probably well aware. The White Dragon been causing all the trouble and menacing the valleys in the area.
Vaguely. We've been hearing about it and haven't seen much ourselves, at least.
All bad news. Nothing good. I could take you to where your friends are, but more than likely you're going to be dealing with her eventually. And depending on how many people you're looking for, you may lose quite a few in your travels if you gotta deal with a strafing dragon out in the open. In the alternative, I could show you where she resides. Eliminate the threat on your own terms. Make for safer travels later.
Let's...
An interesting proposition.
Well, wait. Let's just exactly see. Well, we admire your hospitality and no harm to our friends here, and turning around and finding us it's very excellent. Who are you? All we see is dragon. We don't know the person or the soul behind those eyes. And I'd want to see. I don't think we have necessarily the best understanding as to what exact kind of situation we find ourselves in, or let alone who we're really fighting.
Give me a persuasion or a performance. Your choice. On whether you are putting on a basically how are...
Is it bravado?
Trying to get in her good graces with this whole, we need to know who the person is behind this.
Dude, that's survival. That's like, dude,
Dragons are a different beast.
Yeah, exactly. This is like might as well be fucking Van Glute at this. Like, I don't know what the fuck this is. 17.
Why'd you roll perception?
Oh, that is so funny.
Pretty on brand. It's the reverse of what it
what's
usually
your
is.
bon-
It's the performance for
What's your
perception.
bonus to?
If you allow me to
performance?
keep the roll for
That's fine.
for persuasion, it would just be a +2, so it would be an 18 instead of a 17.
All right.
18's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you don't have enough time to hear all about me.
No, but it just at least an explanation. Like I said, we don't really know what exactly we're walking into. We thought maybe the main culprits were those poor sods up in that village who were starving, but it sounds like there's a lot more going on than we really understand.
Fair enough. Ah. Yes, yes, Bjorn. Pretty minor complication. No offense. Giving a look towards Torsten and Yoferdir. Zormira is a bit more of a problem as of late. Things were pretty peaceful in the valley before she got active. I suppose it's been 2 months.
What
It was a pretty peaceful place to live at that point.
Alfred will pop up. What prompted this activity?
Your guess is as good as mine. About the same time that the weather's churned, became a little bit more severe, snowfall increased, blasted winter that won't end.
Like the winter that won't end.
If I may.
I'm sorry, I thought you were a bit more seasoned of an adventure group. It's summer, and there's this. And she just like flits out her wings quick and throws some snow.
To be honest, I'm actually from the other side of the globe. I thought the cold weather was going to be normal for more northern geographies. So if this is out of the ordinary.
And she'll look towards Torsten and Yoferdir, which is a bit of a. You know what? You guys can both roll me an insight.
You said the dragon was Izmira?
Navarra.
No. The other name.
Oh, Zormira.
Zormira. It's getting serious. I gotta start taking notes again.
Well, and Torsten, you'd be disadvantaged as well, but don't worry about it. Ken ain't gonna get there anyway. So, but with the 15, Yoferdir, it's a little bit. You kind of pick up on a vibe. Oh, wait a second. Why is she looking here? How does she know who you are, or that you're local compared to the rest? Yes, snow, cold. It's not completely out of the ordinary to last this long, but this much and non-stop is honestly old. And it is definitely not in the ordinary.
We'd have to be a lot farther north to be getting this constant of a snow. So, going into spring and summer, like real north of Ishnar versus we're coming up on the south of Porcelain.
It's almost as if this active dragon is some sort of queen of the winter.
Oh, I don't think so.
So why? You look like a very powerful dragon. Why are you asking for our help?
She gives a toothy smile. Oh, I mean, I can hold my own in most cases. But talking a much older, much more dangerous being than I would like to be dueling with. One important note about the appearance of Navarra is you see the left side of her face, I believe, in that image that I shared.
Mm-hmm.
The right side of her face, she has a damaged eye with a big scar mark, claw mark down the side.
She's tried.
That'd be a fair assumption.
I'm guessing this Zormira is an older dragon as well.
She's far older than.
So, what hope do you think that we have against them?
The Dragon Slayer looks over at Houston.
It was a long time ago.
I've heard the name on the wind. Obviously, you've seen better days, old man. But
And I like tap the side of my face and just be like, "You too."
Well, hopefully between all of us, extra hands, do you think we'd stand a chance?
I think you'd have a better chance doing it on your terms than waiting for her to come out of her roost, freeze you along the road.
You think that
So-
we are ignoring a elephant in the room of there's more than just a dragon here on this mountain.
Does she have? Is she commanding some sort of cult, or commanding people in general?
I haven't had a whole lot of conversations with her. Don't really know her particular intentions other than to eat anything she can find in the valley. Based off the fact that she didn't just appear, there's people around here talk about her being here before. My guess, based off behavior, she's been hibernating for years. She's hungry. She's irrational. There's no bargaining with her. I tried. And there's no living with her either.
No, I think we've all had bad roommates at some point, so.
Oh gosh, no. Room. As to controlling folks, I suppose it's possible. Any that could reach her up in the mountains.
First.
Ollie got a question.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was sorry, I was waiting for you to be done. I didn't want to like interrupt the flow. In terms of dragons, did I know that there was a white dragon just 100% messing stuff up before I was captured?
You had heard stories from some of the other tribes, other clans,
My
but
previous
not seeing any particular evidence of it.
my previous dragon-based experience was also a white dragon.
Correct.
And was the white dragon male?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. 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 Cool. 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 Cool.
Ooh,
Okay,
Cool. 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 Cool.
you did this.
I mean, we already theorized that the dragon he killed was either. Oh, and my theory was it was her child.
Can I ask an honest question of you?
Who are you looking at?
The dragon.
Okay, just check.
Yeah.
Whoever it applies to.
rather it be an honest question than a dishonest one.
Well, hopefully honest begets honesty. Are you planning any sort of ulterior motive after there's some sort of vacuum left by us eliminating the Zormira?
Ulterior motive as in
What happens next
something
for you?
other than going... I was living here in peace for well over a decade before she came back on the map. Don't see any reason to not go back to the way things were. Clans and I had a certain arrangement. They stayed out of my business, I stayed out of theirs.
Which clans?
Yes, Bjorn, Skirkestrom. Didn't really venture north.
Zedger's going
As-
to squint his eyes, and he wants to make sure that she is content with keeping the status quo and does not want to vie for anything stronger. In addition, Zedger's going to go ahead and cast one of his spells. I have a spell called No More Lies, which allows me to go ahead and add a d10 to any insight check I make.
Ooh, nice.
So it'll be this plus a d10. So 36.
So, not a very good roll. I
Nice.
mean, it's pretty poor.
Not at all.
Nearly failed.
Just made the DC.
You have a pretty good sense with a 36 that you get a good bead on her truthfulness and that she seems to be honest, that she is fine with the status quo. As it were, before this thing showed up.
Secondarily, No More Lies has another purpose to it, which is if there's any sort of illusory magic or transmutation magic on the creature, they need to make a Constitution save. So if she's trying to pull the wool over our eyes, maybe she's worse off than she's showing us, or better off.
So give the impression that she's using any sort of magical shape change or illusionary appearance.
Okay. Cedric nods with confidence then.
It would, if we are going to be facing Zormira in the near future, we probably need a place at least to rest soon, like you were saying earlier.
There's a mine up this road to the north. The Esbjorn have been using it for quite some time since their numbers dwindled. Should be a safe spot out of the open.
Said you had some sort of agreement with them. What, if I may ask, what does that entail?
It was nothing formal, just a matter of we kept in our own side of the valley. I didn't attack them. They showed me a bit of reverence to leave me alone as well.
Do you know if they've had any interactions with Zormira?
If they have, it's not been anything pleasant.
Fair enough.
The folks of this valley are quite fearful almost to the point of worship of the whites.
If we're going to be taking on this very, very old and experienced dragon, do you have any knowledge of any sort of weakness or vulnerability or anything that they are tied to that we could possibly use?
Primarily, keep her grounded, keep her contained. The greatest advantage is to fly away, out of reach, and blast you from a distance.
That's why attacking her in her lair, though it does pose its own disadvantages on us, is our best bet, because she can't get away as easily if we trap her in.
Even if it's an enclosed area, as long as it's not narrow, I'm not looking to shadow again.
No. Okay. Well, if we do this, could we also possibly call upon you in the future?
For what purpose?
There are, how should I say, we have our own dragons that we need to possibly slay ourselves. And they are disrupting our peace.
Wouldn't by chance be any of my family members. Can do without most of them.
By off chance, do you know of an ancient creature known as Kizarath?
Can't say that I know that name. Not in my contacts list.
Well, if you meet him, I would probably stay away.
Noted.
But in any case, that is our white dragon, so to speak.
Or what did he call it? A shadow dragon?
A purple dragon?
I've heard of the purples, and shadow sounds like a bit of a myth.
That
May have
was...
faulty information.
Our entire life is surrounded by myths and legends. It sounds insane, but
And
believe
faulty
me,
information.
well, faulty information that turned into stable.
How did you know we were here?
Oh, I like to keep watch on the valley. Not a whole lot of things and goings. As of late, trade's pretty much dried up since Bjorn's flute experienced their bit of tragedy.
What happened to Bjorn's flute?
About the same thing that's happened to the entire valley. Sudden onset of a blizzard before harvest could be completed. Lost their crop, lost their main food source. Before they could store anything for winter, starvation, disease, freezing cold temperatures. Things seem to get better a little bit. Folks from your group ventured through. She gives a sniff. Didn't last long.
you see other people come back through, maybe in larger groups.
Just the Espion warriors. They are left. Headed to the northeast one day. Following that group of travelers that had come through. Don't know where they went.
What travelers?
What they were doing. Oh, just a few, I suppose, half a dozen folks came through a little bit before things got cold.
So they woke up Zoemira.
I suppose that's possible. Something did.
Maybe those travelers who did it were the ones who were scared to the point of fanaticism. Maybe they have the ulterior motive.
No. I think they have an ulterior motive, but I think those few are our spellcasters, are our problems. And the Eastbjorn were the ones that were desperate.
So do you think the spellcasters and the dragon used the Eastbjorn as useful idiots and captured people to send up the supply chain?
Well, certainly.
The Bjorn had a spellcaster with them when they attacked. Man who controlled ice.
Ice,
Yes, I could-
golems, elementals?
Saw them a little bit, yes.
There was a track, actually, and Zidra will point out towards the intersection where he had seen the track.
Yes, as I said, your people
They're up there.
are up that.
We may want to head up there soon. Someone's gonna look to the others.
Is that the same direction as the mines? As much as I'd like to run head first, I think all of us are missing some sort of resources, or at least rest, to where we would probably run head first towards the mines.
Just puts out left wing, pointing off to the east northeast. Your friends are that. Right wing going off straight to the north. The mine's up that way. And slowly tilts the wing further and further up into the mountains. So Mira's up there.
And where can we find you if we need to talk to you again?
I'll be around. More likely at night. A little safer.
Well, I suppose the mines are our stop for the night then.
Very well. I'll stop back before dawn. Need anything else? More questions?
You're a hunter, yes?
She smiles.
Do you
To
have any
eat.
game? Do you have any game we can eat?
She looks at your 3 horses.
He turns and looks as well.
Are tasty.
Well, you see, these are kind of necessary for the fact that we don't have the wings that you do.
No, you don't, do you?
Alfred will fly into the air for a minute. I can move about a little bit, but not as fast as you.
A moment of her being a little bit startled at you flying up into the air before just giving a little bit of a chuckle Oh, that's fun. It's a little bit of a fun novelty built there. As she goes, just immediately just lets her wings rip.
Alfred
And
flies back 10 feet.
as she takes off and flies off into the air.
Okay. Silver, I did send you something for before she took off.
Canonically.
Sorry, I switch over to Discord and I get the never-ending story picture that Saga had posted earlier.
Yeah, Zedri is gonna cast Speak with Animals as a spell, and he's just gonna lean over the horses, and just be like, we're not gonna sacrifice you."
Not seeing it. Conrad did.
He sent it to someone else.
My bad. I sent that to Zana, not to you.
Zana's
Word.
so confused
Oh,
now.
no.
Was this a telepathic question?
This was a telepathic question. She has the opportunity to respond telepathically.
Okay. But you are all left with your horses who are being calm. And a road leading off to a mine, and another road leading off to where your quarry has been suggested to be.
Shall we get some rest for the night, or should we keep marching on?
We could all use a little bit of rest. As
I think so.
much as we should push on.
And those who can
Wouldn't
cast
help.
spells would probably need it the most as well. And your father, of course.
Wouldn't help us any if we did push on either.
What time of day is it? Did I miss that?
Like
Night.
nighttime.
9,
It's
10
dark
o'clock.
outside.
It's night.
I just wanted to check it if it was appropriate to sleep. It's not like
Yes.
2 p.m.
Now we need a siesta.
Lona's kind of staring up in awe in the direction Navarra went. But I have another question for Silver, actually.
Because I let the cat out.
Yes, more important. What phase of the moon are we in versus what phase were we in before we went and saw Vibens and Glute?
It's a good question. That's really hard to tell with the overcast storm cloud.
Hey, you said there was moonlight earlier.
There was a little bit of moon.
But now the clouds have...
Almost as if in response to your question, the clouds.
Yes.
They just
Almost
start
so that
moving.
Silver doesn't have
Give
to
away the
figure out
trick,
the
Solly.
moon cycle.
London looks up as a cloud rolls by.
And she keeps looking as the cloud just continues until she loses interest, and then the cloud breaks.
Lonan looks back up quickly. The cloud moves back.
Yep.
The wind's not even going that direction.
Yeah, I guess we'll head
What's
off
a
to the
dragon?
mines.
I just wrote a dragon.
Well, you can't say we tried.
Did?
Or we didn't try.
So, Keys will kind of start turning into the direction of the mine shaft. So then I reckon it's settled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
We yearn for the mines.
And Kiesel will...
Maybe not urine.
Well, Kiesel will kind of hi-ho and we move.
Yeah, how long does it take us to get to these mines? It's not too bad, is it?
Like an hour.
God damn.
Well,
It's a man.
That's a short, like I said, about an hour walk, ride, whatever you're doing in particular. Against the swirling snow, darkness all around, getting a little bit of illumination from time to time just because you're walking across a blanket of white on the ground, so any amount of illumination just seems to be amplified. Eventually finding your way to a small little building about 10 foot by 10 foot and a mine shaft heading out into the Dristicfell Mountain.
I have a question about when the dragon sort of gestured upwards towards the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Could we see like where in the mountains they were pointing, or was the cloud cover blocking everything?
at that moment, there was
Give me
no
a perception
shift in
check.
the mood.
At disadvantage, yes.
Yes. We'll see if we can get rid of that pesky disadvantage here.
16.
With 16?
I'm looking for similarities because I've been to a dragon's lair in the Dristicfell Mountains before. And I need to know if it's just like, hey, it's the one... She got it after, she was subletting.
With 16, I did ping it on the map. I'll ping it.
Okay.
As to where she was pointing to. Yeah, I would say with the pointing in that direction and getting a rough idea of the mountains, pit in the stomach. Or positive. I guess it's how you want to view it. It's familiar.
I had a great time the last time I was there. Let's take the rest of the
Yeah.
family.
As we're walking, Lonan is gonna kind of fall and stack next to Torsten. Like, actually, I did have a question. The dragon you fought previously, do you remember approximately how old it might have been? Or its size would be indicative.
I don't know how old it was. Was... See if it says a size.
Based off of the tooth you gave Yoferdir, I'm guessing it was pretty young.
Yeah, I don't think you ever said
Not
how big the dragon
necessarily.
was. Yeah.
Not necessarily? Okay.
They have rows of teeth, so he doesn't have a fang. He doesn't have like a big pronounced tooth. He has
so he
a
doesn't have
smaller
the
tooth.
same fang that Lonan has from what she found.
Yeah, I mean it's another sharp tooth,
Mhm.
but it's you would have no way of knowing which particular tooth it is out of them.
All right.
It would be a fair assumption to think it might be a smaller dragon because it could be.
Mhm.
I don't have a lot of other dragons to compare it to, so it was dragon-sized, but without a point of reference. I have no way of saying if it was bigger than the dragon you were riding.
Oh,
for sure.
That's not good.
Yeah, for comparison purposes, your best guess on Gerzigar would be adult white.
Definitely a mature dragon.
Thank you.
While we're still riding up, Kiesel's going to look over towards Alfred and You know, all of our heads put together, I think we might have a collective, like, 1.2 on the amount of dragons that we've seen, and that's split between, what, 7 people? We could ask the 8th person, Alfred, if your passenger would happen to know anything about that.
I think I can ask him. You'll see Alfred sort of like close his eyes for a bit. Just sort of like fall into the rhythm of the writing, I guess. Let me see.
As this is happening, Zedri's gonna put his arms around Alfred since he's riding the horse, and he's kind of passenger in the back, just to detect any like changes in breathing pattern.
Does Brevin respond?
Are you sending him a question?
Yeah, he'll, I guess, just like vary the message.
On whether he'll answer questions? What was specifically Kiesel's question of putting the 8 minds together?
I'm really...
Brevin, I guess, has seen a dragon.
I wanted to know if Brevin has any information. I mean, he's such an old guy. I mean, surely he would have known something or another about something or another. And maybe that something or another could be dragons.
I'm writing back.
I've heard. I guess, Zedri, you might feel Alfred's, like, heart rate, like, really, really slow down as he, tries to dig really deep in.
I just want to make sure this kid doesn't go into like a coma trying to ask Brevin a question.
He starts turning blue, and you're like, wait. Is Brevin online?
After a moment, Ford will open his eyes, and he'll turn back to Kiesel and say, well, kind of interesting. He seems very defensive about the whole situation. I don't know. The couple times that I've tried to talk to him, he seemed a little bit more responsive, but seemed very like short.
What's that asshole have to be defensive about? It's just a fucking question.
I don't know.
Insight check.
I mean, you can, if he's worried about anyone else hearing him.
How?
I mean, I can't.
I guess do I roll?
Give me a roll in the tower, Alfred.
Okay.
Which whichever one you think would be applying.
It would be persuasion, of course.
Yeah, totally.
Just make that sound so off.
You're convinced, Kiesel. being straightforward.
And maybe we'll try to catch him on a better day.
Yeah, I guess maybe after his sleep he'll be more responsive. I don't know what sort of mood he gets into.
Yeah, well, I figure sitting passenger side he'd have a little bit more energy, but...
Afterwards, just give a shrug. I guess by now we'd probably be arriving.
Yeah.
Unless anyone else.
Arrive at this entrance into the mountains and a little bit of a shack outside. Doesn't look big enough to really comfortably fit the whole group, but
So that Jack is probably not gonna make it. I guess
did
let's go
say-
tonight.
She did say mines, so it's probably that there's some sort of... That's just the entrance.
Right, but I guess we would have to clear out the mines then, and I don't know how much that would take, I guess.
You did say that there was just like an opening in the cave wall, right? Like
yeah,
in
there's
the
an
rock
opening to the
wall.
mine shaft. You can walk straight into the mine.
Yeah.
Alfred's more getting at like danger and if that wasn't.
The dome's probably still not a bad idea, but we can at least... If, Salinas, you have the energy for that, I understand if not.
It should be fine.
Good news is, from how I understand it, rust beetles like warmer climates, so I don't really think that we're going to find any in this mine.
Okay.
Oh, you all
that's
have
the
dealt
sort
with
of thing
rust beetles before?
Yeah.
We've...
kind of,
No.
but not really.
We delegated it.
Yeah.
They're more native towards their side of the world. And I'll point towards Zedri and Alfred.
You guys do realize I've been living down in Okaria for a while. I've heard of rust beetles before. They cause hell for metal traders down in the Untendunk.
Oh yeah. I can imagine. Well, I don't know if rust beetles are necessarily exactly what I was worried about, but I'm sure that there's some other local fauna here that might be equally aggravating. I'm just saying, I don't know how much we have to clear out to make sure that we're safe for the night. Or if we just put 2 on each shift.
Seems to be the best idea. Keep an eye out in case something does come up on us. Just rest while we can.
Yeah, Alfred will go ahead and get off of his horse that he's been sharing. He'll go unclip Cybil from where she was like not strapped in, but sort of like had a little tie down. And he'll go ahead and take her for a walk.
Okay.
Lonan will go and start. See if she can get find a little bit of a fire to start, maybe. I don't know if we'll be able to find any branches or anything, but maybe something small.
Yeah, I mean, if this is a mine, Keys will go with, but we could probably find some, like, wood, some shit that's
Yeah.
probably rotted off the support beams to use. Kiesel has his tinderbox too, no magic, but
Zedri will produce flame and just kind of look into the mine.
He's the answer with his tinderbox.
I put my fucking tinderbox away.
Those looking for fuel for a fire would find that there's a stack of wood next to the little shed out front. Seems pretty well supplied, more than enough for a night. And looking into the dark cave, hear the whistle of the wind going past your ears down into the cave. No other signs of activity inside.
Seems like a quite enough place.
Let's get settled down and get our watch order in order.
Agreed.
I would request that I take the first watch because waking me will be no easy feat.
First watch, I feel like we could, no offense, prioritize you to be the one to get the most sleep, Dragon Slayer.
It will not be said that I am not doing my part to help.
The tenseness that you had in your muscles, I probably could have stuck in a few more needles. You truly need all the rest that you can get.
And I'm sure you'll be doing enough of your part once we actually start finding people and facing whatever we're gonna face.
I think we can handle the watch. And if everyone agreed, I would like to take the last watch.
I can take first.
Second.
Are we doubling up?
I think we should.
Probably the best idea.
I'll go ahead and take second.
I can take third watch.
So, second with me, and Kiesel will smile.
Yeah, Kiesel. I feel like it's been a while since I've had some time to talk with you. I mean, not that we're gonna be watching, but I mean, we can pass the time.
There's always talking.
So do we already have a fire set up, or?
Yeah,
What
that's
were you
what
working on that?
Lonan and
Yeah.
Kiesel are working on.
Alright, I got Lonan first, Yofridir last. What was the rest of the order? Sorry, I was writing down notes from earlier.
Kiesel, Alfred second.
Zedri third.
Salinas Torsten taking a night off. I heard specifically Torsten being great.
Torsten is, yeah.
Well, I suppose that's our order. I will go ahead and turn in. Be as late as I can be.
Before he goes to get some sleep, he'll sort of grab Yofridir's upper arm and just be like, "Thank you, my son, for coming for me. I thought I was lost."
Nothing on the road that would stop me from reaching my family.
Your mother would be proud.
Yofridir will give Torsen a big, bear hug. A little bit shorter, but you know.
That's my boy.
Pat him on the head.
Everyone, rest well. Keep your eyes open.
I shall. And thank you, all of you as well. You didn't have to come here, but I'm glad that you did.
We're gonna let Yofridir run into the dragon's den, without any help, so to speak. Although it might be the truth now.
He always had a knack for choosing the right people. And with that, also like go and find a space up against the wall in this cave.
Well, I do gotta get going, so you guys have a good rest of the session. Nobody die while I'm gone.
We'll try our best.
We all make no promises.
No promises.
Alfred
Y'all have a
Jones
good night.
left.
Have a good night. Have fun time.
Bye, Jeff.
Tell
I
Lake
will
I say
try.
hi.
I sure will.
See you later.
There goes my hero. As he goes.
And
Watching this.
mine
Oh, no, sorry.
didn't properly upload.
Uh-oh.
For...
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
jealous.
the. Yeah, now you're.
No, you're not. Boom.
Oh.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O.
I had it ported from the wrong folder. That's why I did it.
Ah,
Hmm.
you got younger.
You turned into your son.
For 5 seconds.
It was the really quick aging process. Torsten's a hard. It's a harsh land.
The
Mm-hmm.
perspective change from going from 6'5" to 6'3" must have been.
It's aging, man. It's aging. I shrunk a little bit. I lost my hair.
Conrad's friend ticking away has suggested TPK time. So if it happens, it's his fault.
It's your fault picking away.
It's an idea for sure.
Alright, so we don't rest. Let's go fight the dragon.
Fuck yeah.
Look, I also have a level of exhaustion, so I would rather rest.
Nice to be making uniform decisions as a party.
For
Any activity that you guys have before people turn in, Yofredir has turned in, but as to the rest of the group,
Lonan will go up to Alfred, and he's like, I just wanted to make sure your wrist is fine.
Yeah, I think it's alright.
Good.
No loss of motion.
Yeah, can be a little sore, a little bit afterwards. I hoped I had healed that away before,
No,
so
it really wasn't that bad at all.
I want to say thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Well, Lonan, you know I'm always here for you.
Thank you. I don't know how I'm gonna explain all this shit to Arlo afterwards.
Trying to explain our lives to anybody is a daunting task.
I mean, it might be easier because the gods only know what he's going through in there.
Or he could be having the time of his life, which is probably more terrifying than any horror you could think of.
I would hope that the time of his life would include me there in any capacity, but I'll hope that's the case as well.
You'll love it so much you'll never want to leave.
What is this? The never-ending party room? Wait, do I
Sorry,
remember
Phil.
that?
What?
Kiesel, Selenas remembered. Did any of you choose to remember Kiesel's frat house? No.
Wait, yeah, you're right. I can't make that joke.
How many Sarahs did you have there?
3.
Rewind.
No, that's why no one knows where Arlo was, because he was also just in there the entire time.
Yeah, we just didn't know what he looked like. Oh god,
Yeah.
wait, give me a description. I might have took our shirts off. Found the keg.
Well, either way, I'm gonna try and get some knitting done before my watch. Still working
Yeah.
on that baby blanket.
Oh, okay. Can I see what you've started?
Oh, yeah, of course. She'll, take off her pack and dig around for a bit, and she'll pull it out. And it's definitely a bit larger than a normal baby blanket. But it's mostly like this dark blue with these kind of like silver zigzags, like little like distances throughout. It's a pretty pattern. I've always liked it.
Yeah, I quite like the silver.
Thank you. Yeah, it's still a little bit more to go, though it shouldn't be much longer. And I mean, hopefully when we're heading back through that way, I can not only return to that baby girl her father, but a gift. And she'll kind of absentmindedly touch the Titan woman's wedding ring that she was given.
Turn better than found it.
That's my goal.
Well, good luck to you. I'm gonna take Cybil for the last of her run. She's been cramped up a lot lately, so I want to make sure she gets enough exercise.
Have fun.
The other 4.
Zedri will just push into the mine a little bit more, since it's more so a windbreak than anything else. We'll kind of just solitarily stay there until we're bedding down.
Go to bed.
Salinas is going to do kind of the opposite and go back out to the entrance, overlooking the setting sun. He's going to bring out his journal, because a lot of new information needs to process.
Okay. Sun long set at this point. It was setting when you guys
Gotcha.
went into town, or had already gotten to that point when you headed in. But duly noted on taking time to journal a little bit. From this distance, you can still see a pretty good glow. It doesn't seem to be growing anymore, but off in the distance, down in the valley, presumably where the village is.
Ooh. If Salinas has a compass, can see what day it is based on where the sun is in the sky.
You mean an astrolabe?
An astrolabe?
Yeah, that's how you would tell date around
based off of.
Yeah.
God, I'm uninformed.
Yes, folks, we play D&D and we teach historical navigation tools.
Catch Alfred whipping out an astrolabe next session.
He's like, yeah, I just made it while we were in the cave last
It's the
night.
all-purpose tool, just becomes an astrolabe. Okay. Take your walk with Cybil. Things are very quiet. No sounds of the howling wolves, just the whistling wind. Pretty peaceful evening outside. really signs of danger or... It's a very calm walk. A little bit of apprehension with the glow off in the distance of the village as to were you successful in protecting the temple. Just your mind says yes, your intelligence is, yeah, I did everything I was supposed to do. But there's still that little bit of apprehension that, well, but maybe I didn't. Maybe something. But pretty relaxing walk. A bit of decompressing. You have a pretty good idea of a destination?
Not particularly.
No, I mean you have a pretty good idea of a destination as a party now as to where these people are. And I'd say there's probably a little bit of apprehension over this idea of this dragon, whichever direction you choose to take it. But nature's calming. I'd say, Salinas, you'd have much the same experience, although you're not going and gallivanting around the little entrance here, but just stepping outside out by the shed and looking out, that everything is pretty calm and devoid of predators or danger that you can sense, at least. But feel pretty confident in it. You all
Solid 10 D&D is granting inspo.
Cool. Saka, you have
Here.
inspo.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
saw that. Thank you, Solid 10. You're wonderful. I appreciate it, my friend.
as you all near turning in for the night, leaving Lonan to do her first tour on the watch. Assuming no further actions or correspondence. Oh, go ahead, Salinas.
I was saying Salinas would also be staying up for first watch.
Okay.
How are you feeling about all this? Yeah, Salinas. Yeah. I mean, the others are asleep.
Like I'm still missing a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty accurate. I think we're missing a fair few pieces of the puzzle, but we're closer.
We are.
Dragon. I have so many questions, but it feels rude to ask a lot of them.
Well, she seemed not that excited about me asking her questions either.
What do you mean? I don't remember you asking a lot.
There's a moment where his mouth doesn't move, but you hear his voice. Well, I don't always have to speak.
You know, I can understand why she'd be a little apprehensive then. Someone randomly speaking in your head, if you don't know who they are, can be a little unnerving. No offense. I don't mind it. But I know you.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to find. I would have liked to have known how the Winter Queen fits into this, if she even does. That is just a red herring that we've been chasing.
I don't think it's necessarily that she is a red herring. I think that there is something to the fact that we keep running into these stories and realizing they might be more true than we thought. I mean, even what
Yes,
Navarra said about shadow dragons, I mean, that's what Vibens and Glute said, and whether or not we believe everything he told us, it's... I mean, he's straight out of a nursery rhyme.
yes. I mean, what I've been able to find are all of them.
I mean, it's... Part of me wonders if there's any books back home about Kizarath or anything.
Lonan,
Hmm? Yeah?
I know where to find a book about Kizarath.
Where?
It's in Okaria. A friend told us that she remembered seeing it when she was a child
Avaria.
at this Lord's...
It's Avaria.
sorry, Avaria. Yes, I definitely meant Avaria.
I
That's
know,
what I
I
said
was...
in my mind.
Yeah, it's okay.
You had me confused.
Yeah. I was like,
uh,
well, Lonan is talking about Okaria.
yes, in Avaria. Said that it was at the Lord's estate, which she remembers from a child.
That's good. I mean, that's a good lead. I mean, when we get over there, I mean, she's gonna pause for a second. Isn't Avaria where you're from? Or that's... You were there a lot. If that's a more accurate way to
Yes.
say it.
I mean, I guess you could technically say I was born in Avaria, but not sure it really counts.
I mean, I understand that completely.
Conan,
Hmm?
before we leave, do you think you could help me with something?
Depends on what it is and if it's in my capabilities.
Well, I know you're not a guide for this area, but you do have a lot more experience with tracking and finding things in the land.
Mm-hmm.
And you could, if Winter Queen isn't involved in this, and it's just this cult that awakened a white dragon, do you think you could help me find one of the Throshgenet's shrines, like we came across for Van Gloot?
Oh. I mean, if she has trends, I could probably try. Um, I could try. Yofridi and Torsten might be a bit better since they know the environment better than I do, but it's completely possible.
No offense to Yoferdir, but he's seems to be pretty clueless when it comes to the landmarks around his country.
Yeah, poor man. It always seems like he almost thinks he knows it. I feel real bad for him. Like on the tip
Get
of
a
your tongue.
snort coming from Yofrider's direction as he rolls over.
I can try, yeah. Oh, that is saying if she even has them. I kind of got the impression from Vibe and Sangloot that those shrines, well, she's going to repeat part of the. She'll just repeat the nursery rhyme about Vibe and Sangloot.
Mhm.
It seems like, to me, and I might be wrong. I'm often wrong. These shrines exist because he's locked away. He's locked himself away. We don't know if she's done that.
No, I don't think so. I'd like to speak with one of whatever these are that hasn't been locked away for millennia. Picking the one that Viben Sandglut said was overly fond of mortals seems like the safest bet.
I can agree with that. If she lacks mortals, then she'd probably be willing to talk. Might be an interesting conversation. I have yet to really want to reckon with the fact that some of the information he gave us about the gods and all that.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah. It's just been what's been rolling around in my brain since we came out of there. I know, obviously, like, you know, Zedri's been more worried about the trust stuff. And you've been more worried about, well, it's the kind of the god stuff, but more of the stuff like about Kizarath and I didn't sign up for this.
I
don't think any of us did, though.
you did. You, uh, you did, but I just think you didn't realize it at the time.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you that one. I'll admit when I'm wrong. Silver, do you want me to go ahead and give you my perception check?
Have at it. Or do you want to have Salinas make it? Or actually, either way, because you get to do... He'll give you advantage, so you'll negate your disadvantage, so...
Yeah.
Oh.
That's okay, unless you want to roll it.
Salinas wants to look, too.
We can look separately. It's okay. I'll give myself disadvantage. You're good. Still got a 14.
No, it was almost a 17.
14. It's quiet. Looking out over the valley. I eventually see the orange glow coming from the direction of the village die down to a very much smaller glow. You can still see a little bit, as it illuminates a little bit of the cloud-covered sky. Don't notice any activity. Everything stays pretty quiet.
You know, I wouldn't say this when Torsten or Joferdir could hear, but I feel bad for the Arnsbjorn. They sound like they were just put in a really desperate situation because of something out of their control. Like, not saying they're rat or anything, but I know a thing or two about desperate situations.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I guess we just pass the rest of our watch in silence, or unless Salinas has anything more to
Small
say.
talk.
Yeah.
We're not
Getting
going
to
to
know each
roleplay 2
other.
hours of watch, so.
Yeah.
I mean, this group kind of has an MO of doing along those lines, but
No,
not this
not
time.
us.
We're already behind schedule, so we should
Yeah.
probably.
all right. You guys pass your watch, pass the torch over to Kiesel and Alfred. Take up second watch, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Card it over to the two of you.
Oh, Lonan will leave Salinas with a sleep well, alright?
I will.
Good.
All right. I guess Alfred will post up by the entrance to the cave.
Okay.
Kiesel, I don't know if you want to like sit with me here and look out, or if you want to look in towards the cave.
An enemy from within. You can look that way and I can look this way.
All right. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was worried about earlier. I wasn't sure like, if there was any bears or anything that might live in here. I know we talked about the rust beetles.
True.
Kiesel, are you alright? Do you need to turn in?
No. I'm just a little sleepy.
I mean, I could take the watch if you need.
No, I don't mind staying up. Unless you want me to go to sleep.
Just furrow his brow.
I'm just fucking with you. How's your sister? Did you hear anything back from her before we left Six Bells?
I mean, nothing that I haven't told y'all. Still kind of tenuous over there. I guess it's sort of taken a back burner as we've been out here. I don't know when I'd be able to send a letter off.
No, we've been cut off from the rest of the world. It's almost like everything's been put on pause, and by the time we get back to civilization, we'll rapidly and speedily get caught up to detail.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully the details that we're caught up on are good.
Always. But the world that we live in can be so uncertain.
You're right.
I had a question for Salinas, but you might be able to answer this instead. How does sending mail work? Do you just find someone and they have like an address as to like military of Eaglefall and you just send out a letter, or is it like a postal service that it all gets sorted out into? I have at least maybe a pound worth of several letters that I haven't sent out because it's embarrassingly I haven't really asked how it works, and I feel like you would be at least maybe the least judgmental on my lack of knowledge of the institution of the post.
Have you not had to send a letter?
No, I haven't sent any. I usually write letters to myself and I find them and I thank myself from them. You know, like words of encouragement from 3 weeks ago that when I'm feeling down, I find it and find a nice surprise.
Oh, that's actually quite sweet.
Sometimes I attach candy to them.
Is the candy still good?
It's not really for chewing. It's one of those, you know, you suck on it type thing.
In any case, I don't necessarily know how other places might do it, but Brawl has a decently robust mail system in terms of there's and Silver, you can correct me if I'm putting too much. There's a decent connection of routes that people have traveled on and carry mail, and there's a system that they sort of uphold and keep to. So it's not terribly uncommon to get a lot of mail through Baral. But as for sending a letter, you would just probably figure out what city the person is in, and any identifying information, status, place of business, that sort of thing.
Enlightening.
Well, I'm glad. Maybe when we get back to civilization, we can send out your letters.
Oh, it'll be a lot of letters. Hopefully we can hear something back. Or maybe if there's a post office. I don't remember seeing one on the way in, but the amount of people who can read here is actually staggering. Or I should say the lack of the ability on how to read. So, who knows?
I don't think that much of Torsland is known for its literacy.
Let alone its
not in my experience.
Let alone its postal institutions either.
Alright. I will roll. You will roll?
You will roll. One of us will roll. One of us will roll. Or do we both make separate rolls? Because we're not actually, technically, we're not looking in the same direction, so we would be rolling perceptions on two different areas of perceptiveness.
Yeah, why don't you each roll?
Alright.
Please don't be performance. As Kiesel tap dances in his corner.
Which one is facing in? Which one's facing out?
I'm facing in.
Alfred out.
Alfred, you see much the same. Observe with your senses much the same as what Lona and Salinas noticed. Quiet. Even a little bit quieter than it was with Cybil out in the snow. Pretty peaceful. Snow continues to fall. The glow of the village is significantly less than it was before, which comes with some reassurance that it's not an out-of-control fire at this point. Kiesel looking in. It's dark.
It's dark as fuck.
It's a dark cave. There's no movement. No activity. No tumbling of pebbles. The only thing you hear is just the whistle of the wind as it moves past. Suggesting that these mines must lead to some other air pockets somewhere as the air's traveling through.
When we do get back to civilization and the Our grand adventure and tour of the world continues. Where would you like to go?
I think I do want to stop home for a bit. It's been a while, and I feel like some things have changed. Um, and I'd like to see how I fit in still. But I don't know if I necessarily have a place necessarily. It's just I don't know what I'll do after all of this.
And what about your, I know we joked about exercising, not in the way that Zedri and Yofradir do, but, you know. Is that something that you would like to see get done?
I mean, I would like to have my body.
Your body back. Well, fully back.
Not sharing it, at least, you know? I do think that I would want to get Brevin a place of his own, if that makes sense.
Like a house?
Well, no, I don't necessarily have any ill will towards him. So, I mean, if there's a way to move him, so to speak, I'd be open to that.
I mean, if we can find a way to conjure up a body, a blank slate, and just put him in there.
I don't see why that wouldn't work.
And he hasn't caused any ill will towards us. Unless he tries some funny business and he tries to put you in that body and he just decides that being in this fire-hot shape suits him more. We would have issues with that.
I think Infernus would have issues with that.
Oh, I think Infernus has already had issues with that.
Do you?
Maybe.
Oh, I never thought of it, actually, until now.
Oh, please. One of the most faithful getting body snatched and... You know, is he an Infernus worshipper? Is it genuine? Is it disingenuous? And then he's just making a mockery of Infernus at that point. So who knows?
No, I don't believe that he follows Infernus. I haven't really, I guess, chatted with him in that sort of aspect. Which is odd, I guess.
Well, he is an asshole, but I don't like him, and I don't think he likes me. But I didn't really give him the right hand to shake. But, that being said, he could be a very valuable asset. That's why I was kind of poking and prodding about the whole dragon thing. Like I said, he's just so fucking old, and he's got to know something, unless he was stuck up in that vase for who knows how long. Maybe he doesn't know anything.
Yeah, perhaps he doesn't. Or if he does, he's not saying.
Well, other than being bitchy, we don't really buy it. And if a shell or a body or whatever is what he really wants when he decides to talk to you, maybe that's something we could try to look into. Oh, everyone's happy.
I would like everyone to be happy. It's a lot to think about.
Oh, definitely. Fighting a dragon tomorrow might be the biggest thing to think about.
Yeah, I think we have a bit more pressing issues at the moment. I guess the rest passes.
Okay. Pass the rest of your watch. Still no activity. Everything seems pretty quiet. And I believe it is Zedri. Nobody keeping you company. So if you want to go ahead and give me your perception.
Yeah. Zidri's going to get all of his stuff ready. He's going to go ahead and cast guidance on himself.
Okay.
Because he doesn't have the support of anyone.
That sounded so sad, AJ.
Well, I mean, he doesn't.
Heartbreaking.
It helped. Not a lot, but it helped. Settle in for your watch. Rest of the party resting comfortably. Observing the passage of the night. Calm atmosphere outside. Still steady blowing wind. Steady snowfall. Glow of the village is much diminished from when you arrived. They're pretty quiet. A lot of activity.
I was going to say about an hour before the end of watch, Torsten would sort of like get up, because originally like it was just to like chat with Jofredir, but with him not being asleep.
He's
instead.
fourth watch, so
like he'd get up just as it like started to. I imagine it's just dawn at this stage, or like maybe
at this point we'd still be middle of the night. And this is the 5th and 6th hours of the watch. Jofredir will be the 7th and 8th.
Okay, then I'll get up when Jofredir does the last watch. Then I wasn't sure if it was 3 or 4 watches that zombie.
The only activity really observes Edry during your time is about halfway through your watch, maybe a third of the way. A little bit of restless sleeping coming from the party. Not everybody, but just you notice every once in a while as you're trying to keep your ears peeled for what's going on outside, what might be coming. Hear somebody tossing and turning. As I don't know, do I Jeffin you folks?
Do it for the drama.
Yeah, so I'll Jeffin everybody but Celeste.
Fargrim _the_barbarian
Fargrim
just traded with 5
raid,
views.
so
You're getting right.
You guys are coming in at a very intriguing moment. Most of us won't know what's going on.
Well, thank you for the mead and dice.
woohoo! All right, yes, for those of you just joining us, we're in the middle of a night's watch. One of our party members is slipping off into dreamland as entering a little bit of a dream sequence here for Salinas. Salinas. Queuing up the music. I got it.
You want him to have his headphones on, right?
Huh?
You want Salinas to have his headphones on, right?
Yeah.
'Cause he took them off. There you go.
Yes.
All right. Maybe. Okay. Salinas. Middle of your sleep. After your little chat with Lonan, you drift off into a deep sleep. A little frustrated. It's restless. Eventually find yourself walking along a sunlit road, basking in the warmth perfect summer day. Something that seems so foreign after the past week. Alongside you, the Boreal Court caravan rattles along, comforting presence, lively chatter of friends and family as they travel to the next town, to the next site of their performance. Kiesel walks alongside you, sharing cheerful musings about fried food as he kindly regards you with a smile. Sounds of nature accompanying his declarations as birds sing in the trees, lighting the road, and insects buzz in the tall grasses. Notice a patch of wildflowers, sun-bright petals catching your eye. Drawn by their beauty, pick a few. Thinking of your mother, sent a brief, grounding joy. Think to yourself, she'd like this. As you take up the flowers, you hurry to rejoin the caravan. You spot Kiesel waving from the rear, waving for you to catch up, rejoin, not get left behind. As you hurry down the road, doing your best to hold the flowers tightly enough to not lose them, but softly enough to not damage them. Near a marble statue, the goddess of light, looming over the road. Serene face and glowing presence, both awe-inspiring and a bit foreboding. You feel almost inexplicable tug to stop, to approach, to stay with it. But a competing fear of losing the caravan and Kiesel pushes you to abandon it, move forward, down the road. As you leave the statue behind you, the warmth of the summer day is replaced by an icy chill. Snow begins to fall, thick, blinding, obscuring your view of the caravan, making it harder to follow behind, as with all your effort you try to catch up, just seems to be getting further and further away. At your back, blazing sun burns. As you turn to look over your shoulder, light sears your vision, leaving you disoriented, blinded. Your wrists burn, feeling bound as if by some invisible manacle. Or maybe they're visible. You can't see. You attempt to investigate, but your vision's gone. It's burned away by the blinding sun. As panic sets in and darkness consumes you, sensing the light fading, temperature cooling, voice echoes in the void. Maternal, yet cold, accusing and sharp. Reverberates like a judgment passed at a great hall. Petulant child, it chastises. Each word a dagger, voice unmistakably divine, tears into you. I give you power beyond your wildest dreams, lift you out of your unimportant life, give you purpose, and you shun me. You rebel against me. You ignore me. Pain sears through your wrists as if they're aflame, intensifying your sense of helplessness. The voice grows louder, angrier, each word dripping with divine wrath and wounded pride. And then you reach out to one of my priests and pretend you suddenly want to mend our relationship. but when I attempt to reach you, I find you've shielded your mind from my influence. Oh, Aurora, please call to me, and then nothing but a locked door and dead air. I send my emissaries to reach you, and you ignore them. The air grows colder still, her final words ringing with ominous finality. Give me one good reason I shouldn't strip you of your power and send you back to that infernal circuit. The dream's once peaceful warmth has become an unbearable frost, leaving you suspended in dread, seated, hands bound, sight gone. How do you respond?
His voice is ragged and dry and chapped. He responds, the only reasons I can give you, I only have 5 of them. And they are the people I call my friends, my family. If not for myself, which I don't think I'm deserving of the power, as you said, but for their sake, let me keep trying to protect them.
That is not why I gave you these powers. Your charge is to protect more than just 5 simple beings. Your charge is to protect this world, to be my champion. You have been a poor one at that. It's time to get back on track.
And what do I need to do?
Tell me, if the point came where you had to choose between the life and safety of one of your friends and the safety of the greater world, who would you choose?
If I had to choose,
You envision each of your friends, one by one, being placed in positions of danger. Settling on Kiesel at the last. Lonan to start.
I think if I was in that position, I would try and find another way. I would rather sacrifice my own self and have to choose. Save them both.
You hear just a movement of air, picking up the image of seething anger that's somewhat abated as the conversation, or as the dream has progressed. I think we have much work to do in preparing you for the coming trials. What you have experienced, worked through, but minor inconveniences, difficulties. Much more than the common folk that are oblivious to the workings of the world, but still far below the things that I have in store for you, things that I see you persevering beyond. When I tapped you, when you were no more than a glint in your mother's eye, to serve in this position, I thought I had found true champ. Someone that could do what needed to be done. Protect order, justice in this world. Don't prove me. You wake up, suddenly able to see the dark cave around you, a little bit of light coming off the fire.
Wee woo, wee woo.
As Zedri, you notice Selena's coming to, waking up a bit. Give me a new perception there, Zedri. A 14. With a 14, what do you look like, Selena?
Linus looks like you see him waking up and wiping his face, like, and his eyes are red and angry, like there have been tears pouring down his cheeks in his sleep.
Zedri will go over to his side. Try to be as quiet and least invasive as possible to the others who are sleeping, so as not to wake them up. Do you need some space? We can go outside of the mines.
No, I can't leave the others in in the cold.
Everybody's here around the fire.
I appreciate it. Thorsten at least deserves a comfortable night after everything.
Zedri's gonna start, helping Selena's up. You're not gonna give him that if you're out here blubbering about whatever it is. But if you want to talk about it, We just need to move to a proper space.
Silver, would it be inappropriate for me to ask for a persuasion check?
No, that's fine.
This is D&D.
You know what? I'll use my inspiration on this one. Every roll has been sub 10 up until this point.
What's your DC?
High. There you go.
Ooh.
18.
Ooh, much better. Much better.
Is that high enough?
Yeah, I doubled it and gave it to the next person. The next person was myself.
Oh, all right. I guess.
Okay. I haven't seen anything for the majority of the watch, so don't worry too much about anything accosting folks. And Zidri will help, kind of usher. Helping the elderly. He's going to get his Boy Scouts badge for this one.
Seniors will go with it. Go with him.
You step just outside the cave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Leaving behind sleeping folks. You step out, your hut drops.
So, what exactly is going on? Do you have a nightmare?
Yeah, you could say that.
And what would you say it was?
Zedri. I fucking hate saying this. But I think that you are right.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels just about as good as I imagined it would be. Though I did say that I was going to say I told you so. What's wrong though?
I was told by my goddess that I was going to have a decision to make. And I was going to have to choose between one of you and the rest of the world.
And did it kind of like cut off there right before you could give your answer? Did you respond?
Oh, she just said, make sure you basically make sure you don't make the wrong decision. That You thought that I would be a champion, and that I need to not prove her wrong.
Greater good and all of that? Sure. So, whenever the time comes around, you're gonna have to save the world and sacrifice one of us.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You know, before I made super rash decisions, I used to sit and think about things for a very long amount of time, to the point where the indecision just killed me. And my dad actually told me this old story about how hesitation is the real killer in situations like that. Your thoughtfulness can lead to the worst outcome. And sometimes while you're putting together puzzles inside of your head, you just have to act on impulse. Or in this case, an impulse that's decided for you because you're working for Aurora. So it's her decision. I can't guarantee that you can go around in a circle and get express permission from all of us that if it was us or the greater good, you could go ahead and take us out. But you have at least I. I'd let you do it in a flash.
Well, that is some form of comfort.
I don't think that we're aligned on the ways that we see the world. You've had to deal with so much trudging through all of the different deals that you've had to make. I don't have a tattoo behind my ear, and I don't have a kick-ass tattoo on my back like that. But I would make a deal with a mortal if it meant saving the world. I don't think it necessarily has to be the divine or the eldritch. I don't necessarily know what we're dealing with the giant purple darkness dragon, but you should do it, and you should do it with as little thought as possible. It should be second nature, if it's the greater good.
Just have to ask, how good is the greater good if you have to sacrifice people along the way?
Well, it's not the best good. That's why it's called the greater good. It's not the perfect outcome. our indecisions and our hesitations have already hurt a lot of people. And if it's a way to make recompense, make right the wrongs that we've done along the way, then let it be that. If you need that rationale that you're always spouting off about.
I'd like to think that we have done more good than harm along our way.
I'd say we're net positive, currently. You know what you could do? You could go ahead and do the same thing that I do and meditate with me a little bit. And Zedriel just plop onto the ground, lotus position.
Oh, I thought you were going to say stab your hand a bunch of times with needles to keep an infection from spreading.
Oh, haha. I actually do still have to do that, but your unrest is a little more important. Especially the fact that I thought you were going to start screaming.
No.
Come on. And Zedriel put up his hands.
Join him.
Can meditate about all kinds of things, but lately I've been thinking about the dream walking that we did. Seems nice that we can remember that one. So you think about what it is that you want to do. And Zedriel kind of like closes eyes. If I want to protect others, the first thing that I need to do is protect myself. So if I can tap into any sort of magic that would offer preservation purely for the purpose of protecting others, that's what I want to bring forth. Do you have an intent like that?
Yes.
And that would be...
I think I need to mend my connection with Aurora.
To start? Can't help but thinking about the fact that we've already kind of encountered a frost dragon, and last time it didn't go well. I do recall being rended, and Kiesel was blasted into 100 tiny pieces that I had to put back together along with his frozen sister. So the intent there is that I know I can't eliminate the chance for harm, but if I can weaken powerful blows, then that's something that I want to tap into. What else do you want to do?
I want to discover what is truly going on.
And last thing that I want to be able to do is I want to be able to finish the job. I want to make sure that there's no chance for anything to come back and rear its ugly head. I want to stamp out the entirety of it and pull it up at the root. Even if I'm not necessarily that kind of druid. So, what is your last intent?
He's gonna look Zedri in the eye. To apologize to you.
She kind of looks down for a moment. I mean, they kind of short-term goals that you've presented, but I think that it functions the same way. And give a warm smile over towards Salinas. It's nice to know that the Lady of Justice gave you a stern talking to in a similar vein to the way that I did. But, for what it's worth, I don't have a god complex, so it's not really stroking my ego in the way it might somebody else. But now you know, there's two people. Well, I'm sorry, Aurora, you're not necessarily a person. It's two beings that are telling you the same thing. And Zidri will dexterously uncross his legs before making a mirthful leap towards Salinas to give him a hug.
Give Zedri a hug.
As you conclude that exchange, I'd say it'd be fair, Torsten, if you want to be waking up about now, is just about to head into Jofridur's watch.
Yeah, it was going to be like near the tail end, just before everyone else got up. He'd sort of like wake up, like in this, like exactly this. He won't have moved while he was sleeping. I'll sort of wake up and look and see that the floor is still like stone, but then sort of like look out and see that he can see like the outside, and like there'll be like a brief sort of smile, but he'll get up as Jofrid is on watch, so just like pat him on the shoulder. Is there like, has it been snowing? Is there snow like on the ground?
Just outside the mine, yeah.
Yeah. He's essentially just gonna remove the cloak and then just cover himself in snow in an attempt to clean himself after so long in captivity. This is the cleanest he's been in a long time. But as he's sort of like delighting like in the fact that it's like it's like fresh snow, it's water, it's cleansing and stuff like that, he'll take the opportunity to sort of like look up like at the sky, which is it's like like sunny or still dark, or what's the...
You'd be like starting to get a little bit of eastern exposure.
I think it's sort of like look up and see the light, and he's going to try something he gave up on about 2 or 3 weeks previously, and he's going to like try and pray to Briora and see if he can feel anything, because he had convinced himself that she'd given up on him.
What's your prayer?
I think it's essentially like I understand it's been a long time since you've spoken back to me, but I hope now I am free and pressing onwards, you will give me a second chance to do what's right by my family and my people. Literally just that.
Okay. As you conclude your prayer, take a moment to kind of just that soak in. That hopefulness that maybe connection has been restored. Kind of had that tingle in the village that kind of suggested that maybe things were back. As you kind of gather yourself up, you notice that you didn't do this good of a... Damn. Everything's been cleaned up.
Just actually clean. He sort of like looks at the skin, like you can see the calluses on his hands. You can see the scars on his skin. They're not covered by.
Your natural skin is showing the dirt, the grime. God knows what else. Or goddess knows in this particular case. Knows what else has been cleaned from you, as well as a little bit less right. A little bit more normal, just general dander.
He goes over to Yoffredir and is just like and asks him if he has just a like something for shaving, something like a blade, like a short dagger, something that's like sharp that he can use. Maybe one that doesn't have the essence of his son trapped inside. That'd be nice. Ideally, if we could avoid that one, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. Wait, was Evil the most well-groomed of my children?
Nah, I'd probably be Aiden.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
As you head over to Yoffredir to go ask this question, you hear the beating of wings, looking over your shoulder. See as Navarra lands just outside, making her return as promised. That's where we'll leave things for tonight, with one caveat. Level 11, everyone.
Oh,
ain't no way.
We're gonna need it. We're gonna need it. We're gonna need TPK. TPK.
Oh man.
Yo, we're
level
level
11.
11.
No, I was thinking earlier. That's like this is where we gotta be getting our next level.
No, and then we're gonna level up immediately afterwards and hit level 10 after killing that dragon. Or
12.
12.
Yeah, you go down a level after you kill a dragon.
No.
By reducing the amount of magic in the world, you lose some of your power.
It's a CR.
Actually,
I used to be level 20, and like killing a dragon fucking ruined me.
Actually, canonically in Winternacht is if you die, your soul is magic and it goes back into the earth. So actually killing a dragon would mean there's more magic in the world.
We sent it back to the recycling plant.
We sent it back to recycling.
Hey, listen, who's killed a dragon here?
Technically, the party did too. Sans, Kiesel, and Zedri.
Lonan carries a piece of a dead dragon.
All right. So that is where we will wrap things up for on-demand viewers. So on the recording end of things. If you're watching on demand, thanks for watching. Give us a sub, give us a follow, come back in, watch us in the future. Come watch live. It's more fun to watch live. You can interact with us. We've had a nice lively chat tonight with people.
Check out.
You can also get involved with the Discord server. When you're on the Discord server, you can also get... there is a channel where we post memes and general comments, and conversations about tattoos seem to be a popular one tonight. But
and check
that's
out
the more
our
lively
Instagram.
chat than Twitch is, just because there's a little bit more functionality to it. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching the VOD. We're going to do the rest of our post-game stuff, which is, again, another thing you get if you watch live, where we do some post-game things that you can get involved in and share your vote and get support and interaction. But for the VOD viewers, see you later.
So long and
Ah.
goodbye.